China's latest strategic weapon, the JL-1 missile, better known as the JL-1, is rapidly reshaping the global debate around nuclear deterrence. In recent weeks, a Chinese military magazine claimed that this missile could pose a real nuclear threat not only to Alaska, but potentially to much of the United States. The statement has alarmed analysts worldwide, and the details behind these claims reveal far more than a simple weapons upgrade. They show a shifting balance of technological power that the world is only now beginning to understand. The JL-1 made its first public appearance during China's Victory Day parade, rolling down the avenue beside Beijing's most advanced strategic weapons. What makes this missile stand out is not only its size or its dramatic debut. It is the fact that China now possesses a nuclear-capable, air-launched ballistic missile, one that can be carried by the H-6N, a long-range bomber designed for strategic nuclear strikes. With this single development, China fills what analysts describe as the last missing piece in its nuclear triad, the ability to deliver nuclear warheads from the air, land, and sea. This triad is the gold standard of nuclear deterrence, and China's JL-1 is the final step needed to fully establish it. According to China's Ordnance Industry Science Technology magazine, the JL-1 is currently the world's only long-range hypersonic missile capable of carrying a nuclear warhead. In simple terms, no other country, including the United States or Russia, has a directly comparable air-launched hypersonic nuclear weapon. The missile's name, Jingli, or Shocking Thunder 1, reflects the dramatic shockwave it has sent through strategic communities worldwide. The missile reportedly has a range of up to 8,000 kilometers. Meanwhile, the H-6N bomber that carries it can cover up to 4,000 kilometers when supported by aerial refueling. Even using conservative estimates, this pairing gives China an operational reach of more than 8,000 kilometers. That range places Alaska within striking distance. It also reaches deep into the Pacific's third island chain, an area critical to American and Allied defense strategy. Chinese analysts argue that Alaska's central role in America's missile defense network makes it a symbolic and strategic target. They claim that if the JL-1 cannot credibly threaten Alaska, then its purpose as a nuclear deterrence platform would be significantly reduced. But the analysis goes further. It points out that if a Chinese H-6N were to take off from an airbase in Russia's Far East, an idea tested during joint air exercises last year, then the JL-1's reach could extend over much of the continental U.S. This scenario is theoretical, but it highlights the strategic flexibility China gains with this missile. The Chinese magazine also compares the JL-1 to American and Russian nuclear-capable air-launched missiles, and the differences are striking. The U.S. Air Force currently relies on the AGM-86B, a cruise missile introduced more than 40 years ago. With a subsonic speed, a range of around 2,400 kilometers, and outdated guidance systems, American analysts themselves acknowledge that it is no longer suited to modern deterrence needs. The future replacement, the AGM-181A, is expected to enter service around 2030. But even that missile will remain subsonic, still slower and less survivable than a hypersonic weapon like the JL-1. America's hypersonic hope, the AGM-183A program, struggled for years before finally having its funding canceled in 2024 due to repeated test failures. Russia, meanwhile, maintains a powerful inventory of long-range nuclear cruise missiles like the HK-10-2 and HK-BD, but both are also subsonic. Even the famed Kinzhal hypersonic missile, capable of carrying a nuclear warhead, has a much shorter range, between 1,500 and 2,000 kilometers. Based on these comparisons, Chinese analysts argue that no current US or Russian system matches the JL-1 in range, speed, and nuclear strike potential. However, even this powerful new missile has one major limitation: the bomber that carries it. The JL-1 is around 15 meters long, too large to fit inside the internal weapons bay of any aircraft in China's inventory, including the highly secretive upcoming H-20 stealth bomber. That means it can only be carried externally by the H-6N, a modernized version of the Soviet Tu-16 Badger, a bomber first introduced in the 1950s. The H-6N has been upgraded with aerial refueling, stronger hardpoints, and improved avionics, but its basic airframe still suffers from major disadvantages. It is subsonic, lacks stealth, and carries limited payloads compared to modern American strategic bombers. It simply cannot penetrate advanced air defense systems in the same way a B-2 Spirit or B-21 Raider could. Chinese analysts acknowledge this openly. They describe the H-6N as an interim solution, a temporary bridge until China can field a stealth bomber capable of high-speed, deep-penetration nuclear missions. That bomber is the long-rumored H-20. China has been developing the H-20 since at least 2016. Yet to this day, no confirmed images, technical details, or official specifications have been released. In March last year, PLA Air Force Deputy Commander Wang Wei stated that the bomber would be revealed soon, insisting that there were no bottlenecks in development. But U.S. defense assessments paint a very different picture. They suggest the H-20 may not debut until well into the 2030s. The Chinese magazine uses a poetic metaphor to describe the situation. Footsteps on the stairs are heard, but nobody comes down. It implies that development is happening, but progress remains invisible. This lack of visible milestones raises concerns inside China's defense community. If the H-20 falls too far behind the B-21, China could face a prolonged period when its nuclear air delivery capability relies entirely on an old, non-stealth platform. Interestingly, the article suggests that the JL-1's successful development may actually slow down the H-20 program. With the H-6N and JL-1 performing strategic deterrence patrols, China gains breathing room. Engineers now have more time to refine the H-20 design, address potential flaws, and conduct thorough testing without rushing under pressure. The H-20, they claim, will not simply be a bomber. It could develop into an entire family of stealth aircraft. Strategic command variants, airborne early warning versions, electronic warfare models, transport aircraft, and even stealth tankers. For now, the JL-1 represents both an achievement and a stepping stone. It demonstrates that China has advanced dramatically in long-range hypersonic nuclear delivery systems. It gives Beijing a new tool of strategic influence and complicates American planning in the Pacific. But it also highlights the gaps China still needs to fill, particularly in stealth bomber capability, before it can truly match the aerial nuclear strength of the United States. As the great power competition intensifies, the JL-1 stands as a powerful symbol of China's accelerating ambitions. Whether it truly shifts the strategic balance will depend not just on the missile, but what China builds next. This is Mighty Military, your source for real, detailed, and powerful analysis from across the world's modern battlefields. Stay tuned for more deep insights into the technologies reshaping global military power.